The 2025 Kevin Brown Memorial Tournament of Champions presented by OSF Healthcare is quickly approaching. It's time to get ready as we dive into some bracket previews here. And today, our preview is the Gray Ribbon Showdown presented by Titan Industries. Of course, Gray Ribbon associating with glioblastoma awareness, a rare form of brain cancer. All the proceeds from the entire KBM TOC going to benefit the KB Strong Foundation. Always great to talk about some great basketball for a great cause. I'm Larry Larson, along with tournament director Shawn Powell. And Shawn, Gray Ribbon Showdown always brings some really fun matchups.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun because mainly the teams that play in the Gray Ribbon Showdown are not like elite ranked teams, right? But they've got one or two players that are showcase type players that you have to see. And this year, with the field that we have some very young teams like Mount Bethel and Metamora, and we have one team that's actually a big school, but is just becoming a basketball, power out in California. And then you have a small school from Tennessee.
So, without further ado, let's meet all the teams in the Gray Ribbon Showdown this year. Starting with the aforementioned Mount Bethel out of Marietta, Georgia. A lot of young talent on that team, including 6'9" sophomore center Peter Julius, whose offers include Tennessee. Pasadena out of California, just outside the Rose Bowl. They bring their 7-footer Josh Irving, the Texas A&M commit, into town. Grace Christian out of Knoxville, Tennessee, rolls in, including Hudson Wilkins, the senior guard, along with some other very, very good talent. And then, last but certainly not least, the Metamora Redbirds, quickly becoming a staple at the KBM TOC, the rival of the host Washington. The Redbirds make their 5th appearance, and we were just talking before we started recording, Shawn. So much young talent for Metamora. In 2 years, they could be threatening for another state title.
Yeah, I mean, Metamora is going to be starting probably most likely 4 sophomores. And Brady Jones just played so well last year as a freshman in the TOC. Sam Koch is coming on, Cam Beekman. I mean, they're a young team, but they're going to be fun to watch. I really am looking forward to seeing how they do against the height that is brought in by the other 3 teams.
They have been well prepared in prior TOCs, and the TOC has prepared them for a lot of postseason success in these last few years. Diving into
Mhm.
some of our team features, let's talk about Pasadena out of California. SoCal flavor, a lot of Southern California basketball these last few years in the TOC, and that continues with Pasadena and a few other teams this year. What intrigues you about them, including, of course, their 7-footer Josh Irving?
Well, part of the recruiting and scouting process of the TOC for 20 years that I've been doing this is finding players that are under the radar, kids that might not be in that elite company of players in their current recruiting class, but players that are going to be a big name 2 3 years from now. That's been big in the past with Buddy Hield and Zion Williamson and players like that. That some of them weren't even ranked. Anthony Davis was another example. Weren't even ranked when I started recruiting him. But this is one of those type players. Josh Irving is 7 foot, athletic, can run the floor. He's just learning the game. His ceiling is enormous. And so he intrigued me for this Gray Ribbon Showdown. And then they got a transfer. And the transfer is Timmy Anderson, a 5'11 senior, who led the state in scoring last year for Pasadena Blair. He's a 5'11 point guard that averaged 33 as a sophomore, 32 as a junior, and we don't know exactly what he'll do as the Pasadena 2 guard.
And that's an average, mind
That's an
you.
average. Yeah. I mean, this is a kid that's already got almost 3,000 points as a going into his senior year.
That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Yeah, with Josh Irving, I was reading up on him. Want to run a quick quote from 24/7, the recruiting page. They said, he's most effective right now as a rim runner, shot blocker, and lob threat. That's 3 nice things to have mentioned in your bio.
Yeah, and he runs the floor. I don't know if you remember Deron Holmes that played for
Oh
Goodyear
yeah.
Millennium, and he's with the Denver Nuggets now. He plays like him as far as his energy, high level energy, runs the floor like a guard, and then catches these crazy passes and throws them down somehow. I mean, Josh Irving's the kid that when I recruited them a year ago, he was unranked, and now he's a top 40 player in the senior class.
Hey, right there. That's the Shawn Powell special touch right there. You know how to get it done. You know how to pick them.
I look for him. I know what I'm looking for. So,
By this point, no doubt. Yeah, Deron Holmes. That was the first year we were at the tournament. I remember Deron Holmes well. He was there with Walker Kessler. Did those two
yeah.
play against each other?
Yes, in the championship game.
Yeah.
Yep. It was Walker Kessler, Jalen Williams, JD Davidson that year. Danny Wolf was that year. So we had a lot of, we've Will Richard for the Golden State Warriors, who had 30 the other night, was also in that event. So we have six NBA players from the 2019 event already.
Goodness gracious. Another standout team is going to be Mount Bethel out of Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. And a lot of really good young talent on this team. It might take a little bit to gel, but I think they've got the veteran pieces to put it all together for some entertaining games this month.
Mount Bethel is very intriguing because they're going to play for a Georgia small school state championship this year. You can bet on it. They're going to be that good. And the crazy thing is, their top player is Peter Julius, a 6'9" sophomore, ranked top 30 sophomores in the country, being recruited by Tennessee, Auburn, Cincinnati. There's a lot of schools have already offered Julius. But the two kids that keep coming up now that you keep hearing about more and more is Roman Avery, who's a 6'4" junior two guard. He's starting to really blow up. And then a freshman by the name of Cadian Hudson, 6'5" freshman. He's a top 10 freshman in the country. So you've got these three young guys, and then luckily they have a senior point guard to kind of, direct traffic for them. But they're going to be fun to watch. Mount Bethel is a team to absolutely keep your eye on by season's end.
I had the chance to chat with head coach Cal Boyd. Let's hear what he had to say about Peter Julius and Cadian Hudson.
Getting set for the Washington Tournament of Champions, and today we're previewing Mount Bethel, just north of Atlanta, down in Georgia, and we're joined by the head coach, Cal Boyd. And, Coach, we've got a really exciting team, but, we'll start with the tournament and the cause. Why play in the TOC? Why come up from Georgia in the middle of Thanksgiving week?
Yeah, we're all about the journey here at Mount Bethel. We're not just trying to play, 20 regular season games or so and playing the region tournament and move on. We want to try to give our guys some exposure to really, we thought this is a great tournament with some great teams and a chance for them to get on a big stage and just kind of see how we respond. And I just really enjoy, traveling and giving our guys a chance to experience that and stay in the hotel and do all the things that you do when you go to a tournament. And I think for us, it's just going to be a great, kind of early indicator of where we are and what we need to work on and things like that. So we're looking forward to this great tournament.
So much of the tournament is beyond basketball, raising money to battle glioblastoma, rare brain cancer. How familiar are you with the cause, and how do you kind of frame that up for your team, knowing that you're playing for something bigger than basketball?
Yes, and that's exactly who we are. We're all about that. I love I got an email yesterday about two ball boys who selected our team to be ball boys, and just that whole thing. We're always telling our guys that we play the game of basketball to hopefully have influence in this world, right? We want to have influence from a positive standpoint and quite honestly from a spiritual standpoint. So we hope that people, when they watch us play, they say, man, there's something different about that group of guys. We really like the way they play. They're respectful to the referees, things like that. So we're always reminding our guys that people watching you are paying attention, and it's really important that you represent well and that you give back through the game of basketball. And so it's always been way more than just that orange ball for us, for sure, here at Mount Bethel.
Talking about your group, a lot of young talent, obviously a program that's historically really been successful. What are your expectations for your team this year?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is when you have several, kind of alpha dogs and guys that are really, really good players, you've got to get them to understand that they've got to sacrifice a little bit individually for the overall good of the team. There's only one ball out there, and so that's always, the coach's challenge for us to help them understand that we're going away this weekend on a spiritual retreat. We take our team away and we go do these fun competitions with them. And so that's what we're hoping is going to help our guys really gel and come together and get some good chemistry. But if we can do that, we've got a good veteran core group of guys with some younger, talented players. And if we can put that together, we got a chance to be pretty good. But we just definitely have to really make sure that we're playing for each other and not playing, selfishly and individually.
One of those young guys who kind of jumps off the page is Peter Julius, 6'9", only a sophomore who averaged a double-double as a freshman. So often with these big guys, it takes some time to adjust to their body, adjust to that big frame. With Peter, what's allowed him to be successful early in his high school career?
Yeah, he's got a great frame, as you indicated. He's 6'9". He's about 215, 220. He plays stronger than that. He's just a beast around the basket, and he's physically just gifted. He's got great timing, and he's got great hands, and his shot blocking ability is terrific. And I think that's what makes him effective defensively. I think offensively, he's got good footwork. He moves. He's patient down there. He just gathers himself, and he's just powerful. He's a very powerful guy. I mean, he goes to the basket really strong, and he's just, for a guy, only to be a sophomore, he plays a lot older than that. He looks older than that, but just a great, humble, soft-spoken kid. He's a pleasure to coach, and I've just been really honored to be, a small part of his journey.
Always fun to chat with Cal Boyd. That's another coach that has a ton of experience, but he might be looking at maybe his best team ever, Shawn.
Oh yeah, for sure. As I stated earlier, this is a team that's going to play for a state championship.
And those are the types of teams you love to see at the KBM TOC. Let's talk superlatives. Shawn, superlatives. Standout senior for the Gray Ribbon Showdown, which is brought to you by Titan Industries.
Yeah, that goes to Josh Irving, the 7-foot senior from Pasadena. He's must-see TOC, as I fumbled on that earlier, but he is must-see TOC. This is a kid that you want to come out and watch. They play Metamora on Wednesday night, so get out there and see him. They also play, by the way, in a shootout game against Peoria High. Peoria will be playing their first shootout game in our event. We'll talk about that later.
How about best junior?
Best junior is an unknown sleeper that nobody knows about, and his name is Sagan Sompa. He is out of Grace Christian in Tennessee. He's a 6'9" junior, and Sompa came up as a guard. He was a 6'2" guard. He's grown 7 inches in the last year and a half, and he's taken his guard skills and now playing in the paint. Very reminiscent of a kid in 2021 we had, Bai Ndongo, who plays at Georgia Tech right now, and he's very reminiscent of his style of play. Very athletic, strong, but can handle the ball and shoot the three. He's not only our top junior, he's our top sleeper.
7 inches. That's
7
crazy.
inches. Yeah.
Absolutely nuts. Best dunker in the Gray Ribbon Showdown. All dunks brought to you by Martin Tech.
I think your best dunker is going to be the big three, which is Josh Irving, Sagan Sompa, who I just mentioned, and Peter Julius of Mount Bethel.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Best pure scorer or shooter, and all 3-pointers brought to you by Renewal by Anderson.
Well, that's funny you say Anderson, because Timmy Anderson of Pasadena, he could be that person. Anderson, like I said earlier, has averaged over 30 a game for the last 2 years. It'll be fun to see what he does at Torrey Gym. But we also have Roman Avery of Mount Bethel can fill it up. Hudson Wilkins is a 6'2" two guard at Grace Christian in Tennessee. He can fill it up. And then you've got the Metamora group. And that's the one thing from that Mid-Illini conference that we bring in is 3-point shooters. I mean, with Washington, you got Luke Kaminsky and some young kids that are coming up, and then you've got Metamora and you got Morton. So it'll be fun to see how the Mid-Illini can shoot it with these teams this year.
3-pointers by Anderson doesn't have a bad ring to it.
Yeah, three 3-pointers by Anderson for Anderson.
Bingo. There you go. Of course, for cancer research and glioblastoma awareness
That's right.
as well. Looking at this tournament schedule for the Gray Ribbon Showdown presented by Titan Industries, you mentioned that Metamora Pasadena game. That's on Wednesday at 4:45. I imagine your eyeballs kind of start there.
Yeah, that's where you want to come out and see Irving and Anderson against the Metamora group. That's going to be a fun game. But I think the elite game of that is going to be Friday night, 5:45, Mount Bethel versus Pasadena. I think that's the big game you want to see in the Gray Ribbon Showdown. And then Metamora and Pasadena on Wednesday, I would see that too.
Well, we've got that circled. And if you can't make it out to the event, you can watch it live on clutchsportsil.com on YouTube. But of course, we want you to be there because the environment is flat out one of the best high school environments you will get at any tournament across the state.
Yes, that's the one thing that when we started this event and we put it in Washington, Washington already had a good fan following, but now that we have added some of the local schools that have finally, decided to be a part of our event, like Metamora and Morton, and even when Peoria Notre Dame was there, I mean, it has just escalated this intensity, this fan intensity, and crowd interaction with the players, and it's been awesome. It has been really fun the last 5 years, probably since 2019 when you guys were there.
Oh, yeah. It has continued to grow every single year, even with the pandemic and that slight hiccup. The tournament's really picked up from where they left off beforehand from that event. So that'll do it for our preview of the Gray Ribbon Showdown presented by Titan Industries. Be on the lookout for all the rest of our previews if you want to learn more about some of the talent that's going to be coming to Washington, Illinois, Thanksgiving week. For Shawn Powell, I'm Larry Larson. Thank you for watching this preview, and we'll talk to you on our next preview.